Imagine this. You're home alone, feeling fine, and suddenly your body betrays you. Your speech slurs, your arm weakens, your face feels numb. A stroke. No one's there, just you. For those of us over 60, this scenario is more than frightening. It's real, and it can happen without warning. But here's the good news. Even when you're alone, there are smart, simple actions you can take in those first moments that could literally save your life. This video is made for you, the senior who values independence and wants to be prepared. We're sharing 5 essential survival tips for stroke emergencies when help isn't immediately available. They're practical, easy to remember, and could mean the difference between recovery and tragedy. Let's dive in. Your life may depend on it. Tip 1. Recognizing the signs and acting immediately. Let's be clear. The moment a stroke or heart attack begins, the clock starts ticking. Every single second matters. Your brain and heart are incredibly sensitive to oxygen loss. And the damage starts fast. That's why recognizing the signs immediately and taking action without hesitation is the most critical thing you can do to survive. Sadly, too many seniors downplay their symptoms. They might think maybe it's just something I ate, or I'm just tired. But that delay can cost more than just time. It can cost your independence, your mobility, even your life. Take James, a 73-year-old retired teacher. One morning, while sipping coffee and reading the paper, he felt a strange numbness in his face, and his arm grew weak. A lesser man might have waited. But James remembered what he'd learned, and he didn't second-guess. He called emergency services right away. That single decision saved his life. Knowing the symptoms gives you power. A stroke can start suddenly. Trouble speaking, confusion, numbness on one side, difficulty understanding. A heart attack might show up as tightness in your chest, cold sweats, lightheadedness, or shortness of breath. These aren't just passing discomforts. They're red flags. And yet too often we hesitate. We feel silly making a fuss. We don't want to bother anyone. We wait, hoping it'll go away, but here's the truth. Hoping is not a plan. In fact, hope without action can be fatal. In those terrifying moments, denial can be your worst enemy. Your best defense? A calm but decisive mindset. Think of it as an act of self-respect. Trusting your body, trusting your instincts, and choosing to act. Preparation is everything. Memorize the symptoms. Post them on your fridge. Talk to your doctor. Make sure your emergency numbers are easy to find. Better yet, program them into your phone. If possible, wear a medical alert device that can call for help with one press. Most importantly, shift your mindset. Don't wait until you're in crisis to decide how you'll respond. Make that decision now. Promise yourself that if something feels wrong, you'll act. No hesitation, no shame, because the truth is, early action doesn't just mean survival. It often means the difference between walking out of the hospital on your own 2 feet or never walking again. So when the warning signs appear, don't pause, don't doubt. Act with urgency. Your life and your future depend on it. Imagine you're home alone, and suddenly your chest tightens or your face goes numb. Panic wants to take over. But this is the moment when knowing what to do could literally save your life. The good news, even if no one is around, you're not helpless. There are simple, effective actions you can take that could keep your heart pumping, your brain functioning, and your chances of survival alive until help arrives. One of the most overlooked techniques is something called cough CPR. Though controversial and not part of official emergency guidelines, some doctors have acknowledged its usefulness in very specific situations, particularly during the onset of certain types of cardiac arrhythmias, not full cardiac arrest. The idea is this. By coughing repeatedly and forcefully every few seconds, you create pressure in your chest that forces your heart to beat and circulate blood. It's not a substitute for proper CPR, but it might buy you precious seconds. Take Helen, a 78-year-old woman who was alone when she felt sudden chest pain and dizziness. Instead of panicking, she remembered the cough technique she had learned at a senior health class. While dialing 911 with one hand, she coughed rhythmically with the other. One cough every 2 seconds. That rhythmic action kept her alert and conscious until paramedics arrived. Alongside coughing, controlled breathing is just as essential. Slow, deep breaths through the nose and out through pursed lips can help calm your nervous system, improve oxygenation, and slow a racing heart. Many people freeze during emergencies, not because they don't care, but because they don't know what to do. Seniors in particular may worry they'll make things worse. But in a moment like this, doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. Preparation makes all the difference. Just like Helen, if you've practiced these techniques even briefly, they become part of your mental toolbox. You won't have to think. You'll just act, and that can change everything. Staying calm, staying upright, breathing deeply, coughing if needed, and calling for help. All these steps can keep your body going just long enough for professionals to step in. This isn't about being a doctor. It's about being ready. So the second life-saving tip is this. Train yourself in basic self-help techniques like cough, CPR, and controlled breathing, and rehearse them in your mind. Practice while you're healthy so they feel familiar when it matters most. Being alone during a medical crisis is terrifying, but having a plan, even a simple one, turns fear into action, and action is what saves lives. Tip 3. Early warning signs. When a stroke or heart attack strikes while you're alone, there's one critical skill that can save your life: recognizing the early warning signs. Unfortunately, many seniors either dismiss these signs or misread them as something less serious. Fatigue, indigestion, or stress. But hesitation can be deadly. You must learn to listen to your body and respond fast. Carl, a 75-year-old retired teacher, understood this lesson firsthand. One quiet morning, he felt a strange tightness in his chest and a wave of dizziness. It wasn't dramatic, but it didn't feel right. Years ago, he might have ignored it. But Carl had attended a health seminar where he learned to pay attention to small changes. He immediately sat down, took slow, steady breaths, and dialed 911. That quick response likely saved his life. So what should you watch for? Early warning signs of a heart attack include pressure or squeezing in the chest, shortness of breath, sudden weakness, cold sweat, lightheadedness, nausea, or pain that radiates to the arms, jaw, or back. Stroke symptoms often show up as numbness or weakness on one side of the body, difficulty speaking or understanding speech, sudden vision problems, a severe headache, or loss of balance. The danger is that these symptoms may start off mild, or feel like something you've experienced before. That's why it's so important to understand what's normal for your body and what is. If something feels off, don't wait. Don't convince yourself that it will go away. Many seniors live with multiple chronic conditions that blur the lines between familiar and dangerous symptoms. That's where preparation makes all the difference. Talk regularly with your doctor about your risk factors. Keep a journal of your typical symptoms on good days. And above all, trust your instincts. Carl's story reminds us that fear and denial are natural but risky. In a crisis, you might feel embarrassed to ask for help or afraid of overreacting. But when it comes to heart attacks and strokes, there's no such thing as being too cautious. Every minute matters. Train yourself to respond immediately. Keep emergency numbers posted by your phone. Practice saying your address clearly. And if you use a medical alert device, wear it at all times. You are your own first responder, especially when you're alone. Recognizing early signs isn't just about medical knowledge. It's about respecting your life enough to take action when it counts. Tip 4. Body positioning and breathing techniques. When a stroke or heart attack hits and you're all alone, every second counts. And the way you sit, lie, and breathe can be the difference between survival and collapse. It's not just about calling for help and hoping. It's about what you do in those first critical minutes to stabilize your body and mind. Meet Helen, a 78-year-old widow who experienced a stroke while folding laundry in her kitchen. She suddenly felt weakness in her right arm and a strange heaviness on one side. Instead of panicking, Helen recalled a tip she had learned at a community health workshop. She calmly sat down, leaned slightly forward, rested her elbows on her knees, and began taking slow, focused breaths. This simple decision helped regulate her breathing, reduced dizziness, and gave her body a fighting chance while she dialed 911. So what's the best position in a situation like this? If you're experiencing chest pain or shortness of breath, sit upright or lean slightly forward. This helps open the chest and lungs, easing pressure on your heart and improving oxygen flow. Avoid lying flat. This can actually worsen symptoms or make breathing more difficult. If you're dizzy or unsteady, lower yourself to the floor slowly to avoid injury, but try to stay in a supported seated position if you can. Equally important is how you breathe. Panic is a natural reaction in medical emergencies, but panic causes your heart to race and your oxygen needs to spike. Exactly what your body doesn't need. Deep, slow breathing helps reverse this. Try inhaling deeply through your nose, hold the breath for 2 or 3 seconds, and then exhale gently through pursed lips. This simple breathing rhythm signals your body to stay calm. Helen used this exact method. By focusing on her breath and keeping her posture stable, she didn't just wait. She acted. Her calm helped her body function better and gave her the clarity to call for help effectively. Paramedics later said her quick thinking likely prevented more serious complications. The psychological impact is just as powerful. When you control your breathing and posture, you gain control over your mind. Fear no longer runs the show. You do. That shift from helplessness to action improves your mental state and can even help regulate your heart rhythm. These aren't techniques you want to learn during a crisis. Practice them now. Do 5 minutes of deep breathing each morning. Practice sitting and leaning forward calmly, just like you would in an emergency. That way, when the real moment comes, your body already knows what to do. Simple adjustments, like sitting tall and breathing slow, can buy you precious time, reduce complications, and possibly save your life. Helen's story proves it. You don't have to be a doctor to take control, just be prepared. That preparation could be the one thing that keeps you alive. If you're over 60 and living alone, knowing the early signs of a heart attack or stroke is not optional. It's essential. Because in those terrifying first few minutes, the difference between survival and tragedy comes down to one thing: how quickly you act. Let me introduce you to Robert, a 72-year-old retired mechanic. One morning, while sipping coffee, he noticed a strange tightness in his chest and a sudden wave of fatigue. Many would have ignored it, but Robert didn't. He recalled reading about how subtle signs often precede heart attacks, especially in older adults. Without second guessing, he called 911. That call may have saved his life. Doctors intervened early, preventing permanent damage. Heart attack symptoms can be surprisingly vague in seniors. Mild chest pressure, shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, or pain that spreads to the arms, back, neck, or jaw. Stroke symptoms are just as slippery. Sudden numbness in the face or limbs, especially on one side, slurred speech, confusion, blurry vision, or a sudden loss of balance. These signs can come on suddenly or creep in gradually, but both require immediate action. Here's the trap. Many older adults write these symptoms off as indigestion, fatigue, or just getting older. That hesitation is dangerous. Waiting even 10 or 15 minutes can reduce the effectiveness of life-saving treatments like clot-busting medications or emergency surgery. Most of these treatments only work well in the first 3 to 4 hours. Every minute your brain or heart goes without oxygen, permanent damage increases. That's why preparation is non-negotiable. Keep your phone charged and accessible at all times. Have emergency numbers on speed dial. Write out a short list of symptoms to remember what to look for, and what to say if you need to call 911. And consider alerting a trusted neighbor or friend who can check on you if something seems off. But the biggest obstacle, it's not knowledge, it's denial. Many seniors fear being seen as dramatic or a burden. They hesitate to call for help, thinking the symptoms will pass. But Robert's story teaches us. Acting fast isn't overreacting, it's being smart. Asking for help is not a weakness, it's an act of courage. Train yourself now, talk with your doctor about your personal risks. Attend workshops, watch videos like this. The more you know, the more confident you'll be when it counts. And don't keep this to yourself. Share it with friends, neighbors, or family. What you learn could help someone else survive too. Robert's fast thinking gave him a second chance. Yours can too. When your body whispers something's wrong, don't ignore it. That whisper might be the only warning you get. Now that we've explored these 5 life-saving tips, one truth stands out. Being prepared to face a stroke or heart attack alone after 60 isn't just a good idea. It could save your life. While no one wants to think about such a vulnerable moment, it's something that can happen to anyone, anytime. That's why it's so important to be ready. Know the signs. Stay calm. Call for help. Use whatever tools and knowledge you have. These aren't just survival strategies. They're acts of self-respect and strength. You might think, I'm healthy, I'll be okay, or my family is nearby. But life doesn't always follow the script, and sometimes the first responder is you. The best gift you can give yourself is preparation. It's how you protect your independence and your future. So I encourage you, reflect on what you've learned today. Share in the comments which tips stood out to you or how you plan to put this into action. Your story might be the one that inspires someone else. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may benefit. Every bit of support helps us continue creating content that empowers and informs. Together, let's face these moments with courage. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember you are stronger and wiser than you think.